Okay, welcome back to the show. And today I've got a music guest all the way from the States. It's Giuliana from the band Inc. I hope I pronounced your name right.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent, because I had a band on the other day and I got the girl's name wrong straight away. And I was like, sometimes in Ireland our pronunciations are a little bit different. Like, so
For
I'm
sure.
glad
I've had worse pronunciations. You did it spot on. No worries.
Excellent. Right, before we get into the band Inc. stuff and that kind of thing, I just want to know a bit about yourself and how did you first become involved and get into music?
For sure. So I've been a musician all my life. I started when I was about 5 years old. My mom put me in piano lessons, and it's so funny. I tell everyone I honestly hated it. I didn't like taking piano lessons, but my mom was stubborn. She was like, you know what, just stay in it. You'll like it at some point. And she was right. I did. I really grew attached to it. And I played, it was classical piano. I did until I was about 12 years old, I want to say. And my grandpa was actually a bass player. And one day he came up to me and he said, I know you play piano, but you want to try bass guitar? And I was, yeah, sure. And I fell in love with the bass guitar. It's like my favorite instrument to play. And when I was about 16 years old, I wanted to start my own band, which is Band Inc. The name still stays today. And I couldn't find anyone to sing. So I was like, you know what? I play bass. I don't see, there's not a lot of people that play bass and sing. So there was a few, but I'll definitely give it a try. And it stuck. And I love doing it. I love playing bass and singing. It's definitely a really fun thing to do because you're both doing rhythm and you're leading the band with the vocals. So that's where I am now.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of people that I talked on this that are musicians, and everyone starts off by playing the piano. Like, I'm not a musician. I was in a band. I did play drums for a while, but obviously I started playing piano first as well.
Yeah,
it's just mad the amount of people that do.
It is. It's it's like the only instrument I think that you can see like everything. It's like the king of all instruments. You start there and then you just kind of branch out.
Yeah. Do you find it difficult doing the bass and singing at the same time? Is it a bit of added pressure?
It's funny because in the beginning it was like I sat down, I want to say like 6 hours a day I took out of my day, and because you really got to like cut your brain in half. You're doing one thing and it's like, tapping your head, rubbing your belly. It's two different things at the same time.
Yeah.
And I tell everyone the first song, it wasn't a wise choice, but the first song that I wanted to sing and play bass was Achilles' Last Stand by Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
And it was, I still remember I wrote down a chart. And I still have the chart till this day, and I can't even understand it anymore. I was like, I understood it at some point, but it was very difficult. But now I connect a lot with the drummer. So sometimes as the bass player, I kind of follow what he's doing, and then I just get used to it. It becomes muscle memory, and then I just focus on the vocals. The vocals, I just kind of have fun with at this point, like to experiment. But with bass, I have to be solid because if not, everything's just gonna be messed up.
So you kind of threw yourself in at the deep end with the Led Zeppelin, really.
Yeah. That was it. But it's funny because I have a video of it, and now I look back, I'm like, I did a lot of work on that. That was definitely the hardest one to start out with, but I like to challenge myself. So.
Yeah. And did you play that at your first show, or do you have any memories of your first show?
Yeah, so before I had the band, where I lived, there was a lot of after school programs that had music involved, and they used to do like bands, like they would say like, oh, you learn this song, we'll put the whole band together, and I would learn the songs, I'd show up, and no one would learn how to sing the song, so I had like a knowledge of how the song was vocally, so that was also practice to me. But my earliest shows were definitely a lot of fun because I love music, but I also love fashion. And I remember like planning out these outfits, and people would be like, oh, I love your costume. I'm like, it's an outfit, But definitely early shows were always a lot of fun because they were all learning experiences for me. So.
And do you guys still to this day throw in a few covers here and there? Because I've seen you covered Zombie by the Irish band The Cranberries. Like, that's a pretty hard song to cover as well, but you guys done a good job of it.
Thank you so much. I personally am a big fan of the Cranberries. My mom, when I was a little girl, she would listen to the Cranberries, so I grew up a big fan of theirs. But yeah, here and there we like to throw in like one cover or two the most, because like it's you play your originals, you're presenting them to people, and I always think like, we'll throw in a cover to see if people move around, dance a little bit, like, oh, I know this song. So definitely Cranberries is always one of my top choices, because who doesn't love the Cranberries? They have like a bunch of hits.
Yeah. In terms of the formation of the band, then how did it come together, and who else is in the band with you?
For sure. So it's always a funny story, because a lot of people know, like, band members, musicians, they're all in like 10 different bands at the same time. So it's always been very hard to have like that solid group. So for years, it was always like a hired gun situation. But right now, I'm very fortunate. My guitar player, his name's Victor. He plays with me. It's usually, most of the time, it's a 3-piece.
Yeah.
For drummers right now, it's we've been having people fill in for drums. But in California, we have our drummer when we play out there, and on the East Coast, we have my friends. I'm very fortunate because they're professional musicians. They're able to hop on whenever. But really, the formation of the band, it's a funny story. When I was 16, I mentioned I wanted to start a band, and I was in high school at the time. And one of my friends, she was older than me, she was graduating, and she said, I'm going to have a graduation party. If I know you're a musician, if you can put something together, like, we'll have you at the party play. So I was like, all right, I can do that for sure. So I got some of my close friends. We jammed. We did a bunch of covers. And that was it. I had played my first own show that I was able to get everyone together. And there were some videos of us like on social media that had gone around locally. And some venues called me. They were like, oh, there's like, we heard that you guys are a young band. We'd like to book you. And I was like, yeah, sure. And they asked me, they're like, what's the band name? And I was like, oh my God, I didn't think this far enough. So I'm like on the phone with them. And I said, Band Inc. That was like the first thing that came to mind. And they were like, oh, okay, that's quick and easy. I'll write it down in the book. And then it just kind of stuck. It's kind of hard to change it now, because I've kind of grown to it, because it's short, easy to put on things. And yeah.
Yeah, it's to the point.
Exactly. It's quick, people remember it's short spelling,
And I noticed that when in your shows you have like the American flag beside the microphone. What's the idea behind that?
Honestly, it's my grandpa's scarf.
Oh, it's a scarf.
Yeah, it's a scarf.
Okay.
It's long. My grandpa's my best friend. He's the reason why I'm in music. And it's, I kind of it was cold because I live in New England. And sometimes you never know what weather you're going to get. One day it's spring, one day it's cold. And I was like, oh my God, it's freezing. And he gave me his scarf. Like, he had it in the back, but he never used it. And he was like, oh, just take this, like, wrap it. And my mic stand was kind of sad. It had like no excitement going on. So I was like, I'm just going to wrap it here. And it just adds like, like Aerosmith, like he had Steven Tyler has like a bunch of like scarves on. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's a cool scarf. So I guess I'll put it in. It makes me think of my grandpa. So
yeah, it's probably something that people remember though as well when they see you guys. Is it something you do for every show?
For every show, well, we always do our originals. Something that I love to do is change the set list. So every show will change the order of the originals. I love to add new originals because we've been writing a lot. So I definitely like to add in a new song here and there. Depending on a gig, like if we're opening for like a metal band, we'll sit together. We're like, what's a cool cover that, people would like? So we'll do like Iron Maiden, or we'll do like Motorhead, something that fits the bill. So that's something we do different. It revolves around the set list.
Yeah, because rock music is so diverse, isn't it? Like if you're going to be opening for different bands and stuff like that, you kind of have to have a lot in your locker really these days.
Exactly. You got to be prepared. You got to, throw them what they want.
Yeah. What's your favorite or best or proudest moment that you've had in the band so far?
we've been very fortunate. We've been getting a lot of great opportunities. I would say the moment that I was really, really, excited about was when we got invited to play the Whisky A Go Go. That was last year in November, because growing up, I would read a lot of books about all my heroes, and the Whisky A Go Go is always mentioned in those books, and I would always look up to it. And I got a message one time, we got invited, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So, and we've been fortunate, we've been having more shows there. So it's definitely a surreal feeling. Like, it never gets old. It's really a really fun moment for sure.
Yeah, that's the most kind of, I think, iconic small music venue in America, isn't it, really?
For sure. And it's so funny because when I went there for the first time, I thought it was like this hall, huge, but you go in and it's this little corner stage, and it fits about like 300 to 400 people. And it's so crazy to think like the Doors played here, like Motley Crue played here. It's like, oh my God, it's like a venue downtown. It's really amazing.
Yeah, sometimes those small venues are even better than I find the large stadium shows. I was fortunate enough to be in America a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I was in Texas, and I got to see a few local shows in Dallas.
Nice, very nice. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, there was a band from Finland playing over in Dallas, so we changed our flights so we could be there a day early to go see them, because they're a very popular band in Finland, but they're not very much known in America. They were playing with a band called From Ashes to Fire.
I've heard of them, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, I've never heard of them, but I heard of the Finland guys. But the people there knew From Ashes to Fire, but didn't know the Finland guys. It's kind of weird.
That's awesome. I've never been to Texas, but I hear there is a huge music scene down there. So that was definitely a cool place to go for sure.
Yeah, the place we went, the venue was really, really cool, because you walk inside and there's a bar, but then you walk outside and the stage is actually outside there. It was really cool. Amplified live. That's what it's called.
That's really cool. Wow. Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah. Okay. The songwriting process for you guys.
For sure. So in the past, I have, done all the writing, because as I mentioned, like, to have that steady lineup has been so tough, because, everyone's in a bunch of bands. So for years, I love songwriting. That's my passion. And for the process really starts with the music. So an example, like recently, around the end of last year, December, I wrote a song, and I was coming back from California, and the riff was stuck in my head for about 5 hours in the plane. Okay. And I was like, oh, okay. As soon as I get home, I just got to do like a voice memo of this, all the song and everything. And when that's done, I have a book that I write all my lyrics in. And I write a lot about past experiences, stuff that's going on, people that I've met. It's really all that goes into my songwriting. And I look through my journal and my songwriting book. And when the music's all done, now time comes to add the lyrics and the melody. And I'll look through the book, see like some pages that I have. I'll pick and choose lyrics that I have, because that's all I do is write. I actually have it right here. You can get a little sneak peek. This is the book right here. Carry it everywhere.
That is the book.
That's the book. Yeah, I have I take it with me everywhere. If I see something like some cool imagery, I'll write it down. I'll describe it. And really, it all comes from that. It's all, writing down, remembering things, feelings. Like if I was feeling a certain way this specific day, I could look at it and say, that kind of goes with the sound of the song. I could definitely add that. So definitely, it's heavily based around how I'm feeling, what's happening,
Yeah.
For sure.
And for yourself then, who is your like influences in music? Say your favorite bands that you kind of want to aspire to maybe be like?
Oh my goodness, there's so many, but I can come up with a few.
Yeah.
My number one favorite band, and that's just because like they're one of my biggest heroes. It's Led Zeppelin. I grew up listening to Zeppelin. Just that I remember being just so turned on to them, because when I first heard it, I was like, they sound so angry and so loud. I love it, because I myself, believe it or not, I'm very quiet, and I'm always very shy. And to listen to that, I was like, oh my, I feel alive. So definitely Led Zeppelin. Another one would be Motorhead, for the same reason. I love music that just makes me like get up and move, you know, like they have that feeling, they make you feel excited.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely a third one would have to be Queen, because I'm a big Freddie Mercury fan, and as a songwriter I think that he was one of the best, if not the best songwriters in rock history. And probably I'm a big fan of Hailstorm, because
Right.
Hailstorm was one of the first bands that I ever saw with a female lead playing guitar, and so that to me, Lizzie Hale, she's a hero to me. So yeah, those are definitely some of my biggest inspirations.
When I was sent your latest single, Midnight Rider, I actually got a little bit of AC/DC and Cranberries vibes for it. So maybe I'm totally off, or did anyone ever say anything like that to you before?
No, I've heard that a lot. It's so funny because when I was writing Midnight Rider, I wanted to write something that was fast,
Yeah.
something that was loud and energetic. And yeah, I myself am a big AC/DC fan, so I would definitely thought, like, you know, do something quick, rock and roll, something that people can kind of dance to. So I could definitely see that for sure.
Yeah. Where did you guys get that recorded? It's very, very good quality.
Thank you so much. We got it here in Boston, on top of Boston. It's a city called Framingham. It was in Red 13 studio. So it's a funny story. I was so ready to get the music out there 2 years ago in 2020. It was the week before the pandemic happened, and I was so excited. I was like, yeah, we're finally getting our music. And then no, it was like, never mind.
Shit hit the fan, yeah.
Exactly. But honestly, it worked out, because now we're actually hitting the studio at the end of this month to record our first EP. So I'm so excited about that. It all worked out perfectly. So definitely more music to come.
Yeah. What can people expect from this new EP? Have you got the songs written and decided already, or you don't have to give too much away?
No worries. I don't mind.
Yeah.
So for sure, it's definitely heavy rock music. Victor and I we wrote a new song. It'll be out on the EP. It was fun to co-write with someone, because usually it's just me by myself.
Yeah.
But we wrote a new song, and definitely I would say very heavy rock and roll, driven, fast. Yeah, that's the basically sort of like Midnight Rider, but maybe a little more heavy for sure.
Oh, cool, cool. So what's the plan then to, like, when you're going to release this EP? Are you going to do a big tour of the States?
That would be the goal. I would love to. We're definitely working on it. So we do have a lot of shows this summer. I do all the social media. I post all those dates. So if anyone wants to catch us on a show, definitely you can follow us at Band Inc. It's BANDINC. So definitely I'll be posting all the shows after the EP release.
Yeah, and hopefully when you're about to release the EP, we might get you back on again, have a chat, see how everything went, if you're up for it.
Absolutely, I would love to. Please, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I told you this would be an absolutely easy interview. Like, there we go. Now it's done.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, this was so much fun, really.
Yeah. Okay, last thing, for people that want to check out the band, the social medias, stuff like that, will I just post them underneath, or do you know them?
I know I do all the social medias. So
yeah.
If you'd like to listen to Midnight Rider, you can look us up. It's BANDINC. It's Band Inc. If you use Facebook, you can look up BANDINC. And if you use Instagram, it's BAND_INC. That you can find us with that name anywhere, really.
Yeah.
If you'd like to follow me, I know on the screen it says my name. That's actually my username. I know it's very long, but that's my name.
Yeah, I didn't try to pronounce the whole name. I said
no worries about it. I'm Portuguese and Italian, so I have the strong names.
Okay, so we're both European then.
For sure. So if you're interested in following me, I also post a lot about the band behind the scenes. That's just at GIULIANA LUCIA Amaral. AMARAL. So it's Giuliana Lucia Amaral. That's a pronunciation, in case anyone was wondering.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks so much for your time today. It was absolutely brilliant.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. I hope to speak to you soon.
Yeah, and best of luck with everything. Keep us posted.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I will.
Bye-bye.